Okay. Um, Let me just go into section one. There we go. All right. I'll go first then.
Mm-hmm.
So my first win con is hacking. So Major, since she's like fully like prosthetic, she has like a cyber brain, and she can like hack into people who are like who have cybernetics or any form of like machinery inside of them. She can hack into um like machines, electronics. I'll get you those scans right now.
Okay.
She was able to hack into this dude named Bato and completely made him neg himself. And I'll get you that.
Okay.
And it's passive as well. She just has to look at you. Let me just get another scan as well because I got to get the rest of the scans of the other things I've just stated.
Okay. The thing is, it's a GIF. It's
Yeah,
loading.
it's a GIF. Has it
Let me try to
loaded?
open it in browser. Okay, I'm looking at it. Okay, so as long as you can turn it over, yeah, there's nothing wrong with female models. Yeah, is there like a description of like because he just a full on robot?
Yeah, like he's like how do I explain? He's like a cyborg, and he has like cybernetics inside of him and a cyber brain.
Uh huh.
So
Has it only been shown to work on people with like that, like a lengthy amount of cybernetics? Like what percentage of him like is still human?
it's hard to describe. So like um so because like in Ghost in the Shell, there's like when they basically go through this phase called cyberization. So their organs get transplanted, so they're not like ordinary humans. So like all like the vital like organs and stuff in their body is like removed and put in with like prosthetics, and their brain is completely removed. It's like a cyber brain. So it's kind of like it's still a brain, but it's just has like cybernetic enhancements.
Yeah, if this is the only like if she's only been able to show these kind of abilities against these kind of people, then I don't think this would. I don't think there's any reason to think this would work on Snake. Like he's not a cyborg. Like every part of his body is still
Well,
human.
like he has nanomachines, and they are like um, like cybernetic components. So she would
They'd be
hack into.
microscopic machinery, which is why I said like what's the percentage of like how much these guys are cybernetic, because it looks like if they're like mostly comprised, that it would make sense that she could manipulate like whole limbs and such, like to make him like punch himself and shit. But I don't think it would be analogous to Snake's like just kind of like microscopic nanomachines.
I disagree because like the nanomachines inside of like a person through like Metal Gear Solid, like nanomachines, yes, they're like microscopic, but like they are all over his body and obviously in his brain and stuff. And obviously because of her like being able to like hack into the electronics, and let me find the scan for you. She would be able to like hack into Snake and like control his arm movements and stuff, and I'll get you that scan. So here's a scan of Major. She was controlling, like, passively, this like kind of like this construction like equipment, like this tool thing, like a digger or thork or whatever it's called, and she was able to like passively like control it and like make it lift up the coffin, and then he slammed it into that like cybernetic woman to destroy her.
Okay.
But like, I've given my evidence already, but we can leave this part to the judges.
Well, no, because actually I have something that I think would pretty like directly counter this, because in MGS4 there is a boss called Screaming Mantis who pretty much has this identical power. In fact, even if I wanted to say that it was analogous, like her manipulating like cranes and shit, which like I said are like large amounts, like they're completely reliant on machinery, or like cyborgs who, as you have presented, are like largely comprised of their internal organs, parts of their brain, like all of those things that she'd be controlling. Even if I wanted to say that was a like similar in nature to nanomachines, which would compromise like a fraction of Snake's total body. There was this boss, and this is from the MGS4 database, which is like an official encyclopedia that was released on the like PlayStation Store. And so you can see there it says that she literally just she would control the nanomachines in a person's body to like make them move around and to manipulate them. So pretty much exactly what you're supposing would happen here. And let me get the exact scan here. Let me see where it happens. Because the only way, or one of the ways that Snake had to beat this person is use his nanomachine suppressants, which he used because there's a part in the boss fight where she like manipulates a person with nanomachines, like one of Snake's friends, and like tries to like manipulate her arm into like killing herself. Like because she has a gun in her hand, she's gonna blow her head off.
Yeah, I know,
and Snake just like uses this suppressant. Yeah, so he just injects Meryl with the suppressant, and is able to like neg the like body puppetry.
Can I ask a question?
Aspect of this. Yeah.
So like, does Snake need to physically get this serum and stab it into him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just argue like by the time Snake attempts to do it, he'd already been controlled and restrained by her control.
Okay, so the reason why I don't think that would work is because her powers, and I think it's stated here. I mean, you say you know the scene, so you know that like Screaming Mantis is like could be controlled by Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
And so like it would stand to reason, like it would be sound that her powers would be derived from like his. They pretty much have the same powers. And Mantis was as well like trying to like manipulate Snake and like control him telekinetically, and like manipulate his mind, and Snake just like through sheer will like overpowered it. And so I think either through sheer will he would inject the suppressant, or he would just be able to just willpower through it and just not get manipulated.
What willpower you're arguing?
Mm-hmm. Willpower if it's necessary. Like even if he can't just willpower through it, he could do it long enough to suppress his nanomachines, is what I'm going to argue.
So he's going to attempt to suppress his nanomachines.
Mm-hmm.
I'd argue she'd bypass it.
How?
She's bypassed like people who have like basically so like in like Ghost in the Shell, cyborgs have like built-in virus protection to prevent and like their bodies and their minds warn them of when they're going to get hacked, or like there's like viruses or like some foreign threat like entering inside their body. And because Major was able to just casually hack into Baito's body without him knowing, she was able to bypass it. And I'll drop you a scan because Major herself, like she has like resistances like any ordinary other cyborg, and like she has like dummy barriers which activate when they detect like a virus. And I'll get you that scan.
Okay. I'll wait for you to post that then.
Yeah, sure.
Take a look at it. I'll also, you agreed, like you just sort of, you knew that this was the case, but I'll post the thing anyway, that Psycho Mantis is controlling Screaming Mantis. That's again from the MGS4 database for, I guess, the judges.
Oh yeah. Hang on, I'm just copying and screenshotting this shit because so yeah, here's like a print screen. So like when Major was trying to like hack into this dude, her cyber defenses kicked in, and then it warned her of like, oh, there's a virus, and then obviously it triggered her like she has this like dummy barrier to like ward off that virus to stop her from getting infected. And characters like pretty much who have like cyber brains have natural like at least a layer or so resistance to like being hacked. And obviously because of this, like Bato's cyber brain didn't even detect and didn't even know that his body was basically hijacked, and then he negged himself in the face, as you saw through like the GIF.
Okay, so what exactly are you arguing? You're just gonna like...
Oh, I'm arguing that I'd bypass your resistance.
Okay, well, because so far what you've presented is like these persons have countermeasures to being hacked, and so, but I think it would be a different scenario here, because it would be like, imagine, so these guys are just like, it would be like a computer. Let's just use like the analogy of like a computer virus. So like a virus attacks a computer, and a computer has a firewall, but the virus is so like well designed that it's able to bypass that, is essentially what you're saying here. This is the situation here, but I think that's disanalogous, because for the sake of the nanomachine suppressants, it would be like you're just turning off the computer. Like there's nothing for the virus to affect at this point. And so it wouldn't be, I don't think this would be like a sufficient counter to the nanomachine suppressants.
Wait, what do you mean, like you're turning off your nanomachines, you're saying?
Yeah, like it's suppressing them. Like in the example that I showed, the person who explicitly stated is to body manip people through their nanomachines, which is what the WinCon you've presented. The nanomachine suppressant was enough to be able to just like, she couldn't do that anymore. It just suppressed them and turned them off, essentially.
Well, I've got a counter, because in Ghost in the Shell, they have this mode called autistic mode, and it shuts off their cyber brain, and they can still get hacked. I'll drop you a scan.
Okay.
Because I think it was one of the presidents. There was like this small like terrorist organization. They were trying to hack into people and make them go insane. And basically, like his bodyguards, they noticed like his mind was being like hacked, and then they said, President, switch into autistic mode, which is basically airplane mode. It's like you just switch off your cyber brain, and he still got hacked, and like Major had to help him like ward off the virus, and I'll get you that.
Okay. Okay, let me look at this.
And also, he couldn't switch it off because they negged it.
So you can't turn it offline?
He couldn't turn it off because they negged it because of their virus.
I don't understand. It sounded like your claim was he turned it off and they still were able to do it, but it's saying that he wasn't able to do it. Seeming to me, it seems like they just got to it. Like the guards alerted him, but it was too late. Like by the time he tried turning it off, it wouldn't turn off.
Oh, my bad. I misspoke. My apologies. Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant. Like he was basically trying to turn his cyber brain off, but they basically hacked into him. Before.
No, it sounds like okay. So they tell him to turn it off,
and then he couldn't turn it off. See, he tried to resist it, so he tried to turn it off, but because they
he tried to turn it. Okay, but that's okay. But there's a distinction because it wasn't off. You're saying that like I said he would turn it off, and then you provided this as a counter, but this wouldn't counter it. Like it's off now. Because you were under like the narrative you were building was that Snake would inject this, turn it off, but then they would still somehow get through to it. But this guy wasn't able to actually turn it off his like cyber brain or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's what I'm arguing. He wouldn't be able to turn it off, or basically,
but it's already off.
What do you mean it's all? No, I mean like as you attempt, it's you won't be able to do it. What I'm saying.
Won't be able to. I don't like. Okay. I don't think I seem to understand because that's the narrative I was under.
Sorry, do you want me to like basically like what's the word? Summarize what I'm saying, so you can like understand.
Sure.
So basically, sorry, because I kind of like misword certain things. My bad. So basically, so in this scan, when the Prime Minister basically is getting jumped, basically hacked, and they all tell him to turn his like cyber brain off into autistic mode, because they got there, because they're there, they got to him, he was unable to turn it off. And because obviously I'm arguing that because he won't be able to turn it off, they'd basically like bypass, like I'm arguing Major would bypass basically your nanomachines, like you attempting to like resist it by switching it off. And obviously because Major's hacking is passive, it would already occur.
See, because I don't know, how does this, okay, so I don't know, this is like a weird,
I apologize if it's a bit weird.
It's weird.
I do apologize.
Yeah, like it's a weird sort of occurrence. I don't know. To me, it just seems like this guy wasn't, like he just wasn't. He got caught. He got hacked before he was able to actually turn it off. But like I said, I think the narrative was already like, this is going to try to happen. Like this, because it doesn't seem like it's like that she would try. Because can you provide that it's like just always passive, that she's like she doesn't have to try to bypass something?
Oh yeah. She hacked into Botto's eyes passively by looking at him. I'll get you the scan.
Yeah, but does she? But that's different though. That's different because the person has the thing active. Like the person like isn't trying to turn it off.
Well, what do you mean?
They have it. Okay. Their cyber brain is like online or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when she's able to get it. What I'm asking is like because she's just passively, whatever, hacking. She can just passively like, just control machinery around her.
Yeah.
But where is there an instance of like someone is attempting to like someone turns them off, like Snake injects the thing into his neck, and so the nanomachines are suppressed, and she's still able to like body manip somebody's machinery after they're already off.
Oh, after they're already off, you're asking?
Yeah, because that was the narrative. I'm like, well, he's going to inject himself, and then you were like, well, then she'll do this.
Well, how would Snake know he's being possessed passively?
Let me think. Well, I mean, like, I think the like willpower, like, because she is going to try to, because you're arguing he's just going to make like him punch himself, right?
Yeah, and because so you would agree, like, I'd get to you in terms of like passively, so I would already have like control of your body, right?
I still don't. Because I still don't think the nanomachines are analogous to like a person who's completely cybernetic, to someone who has entire organs and their entire brain is made up and compromised of machines. I still don't think that's analogous.
Well, I don't know. Well, I feel like I've provided enough evidence anyway, but like, I think
we can leave that point up to the judges because I just still maintain that like having nanomachines, that you're still completely organic, like your body's still organic. He has nanomachines. He has the means to suppress them. He has countered people who have tried to manipulate his nanomachines directly. And I don't think that's analogous to people who have like their brain, and essentially what you made it sound like their entire body is made up of machines. And that would be supported by the notion that she can like control cranes and shit. And those things are just completely mechanical. But yeah, so I maintain that it's just kind of disanalogous. Well, but we can, like we both say, we can leave that to the judges.
Yeah.
See what your next one is.
We can leave that to the judges because, like, obviously, I think that it would work, and like, nanomachines are, machinery and shit in nature. Wait, is it your win con, or because I've already given? We've left this.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really debate with like, oh, I have a win con in mind. Let's do this. Like, oh, can your guy counter this? Like, so you can just present. If you just have a list of them, then that's probably more like pertinent. If you have a list of win cons.
Let's see.
If not, then I can present something.
Yeah. I prefer you to present something. I don't have anything particularly right now. Okay,
so I would just say Snake would like massively like outskill this character. He's been stated to be like a master of close quarters combat. He scales off of Big Boss, who was stated to have perfected CQC along with the boss. And CQC is just like, it's a highly effective like system of like strikes, throws, disarms. I can get you a sort of description of that. Let me see. I think I have it in, what is it, like lore? Let me see. Yeah, so here's the description here. It's kind of vague. We can go into the intricacies of it if you want, but I don't think it's going to be totally necessary.
No.
But so he is like a master level hand-to-hand combatant. By like MGS, well, pretty much for the bulk of the series, Snake doesn't practice CQC. He starts using it in 4. Like, he's known the techniques since his training, so he's always had them. But but the time between then, he would have like used other martial arts. Do you accept like Godzilla Rex as like a valid source of like, since he's like trained in various martial arts and knows like that kind of shit? Like he did a video on Solid Snake. Okay, so these are the sort of martial arts that he's deduced Snake would be proficient in. And then in MGS2, Solidus, after like ascertaining information about the S3 plan, which was like essentially like a plan to recreate Solid Snake through this other character, Raiden, he called Snake the perfect warrior, and this is backed up by the like description of it in the MGS4 database, in case you wanted to like argue that it's like a character like perspective, like, oh, it's just what Solidus thinks. And so per like the perfect, how definite perfect is defined is, and I'll post that, it's like as good as possible, as good as it is possible to be. And so per that, and per Snake having all of these like martial arts, it would mean that he would have to be like a master of them, of all of these. He includes like piloting and like being a weapons expert as a martial art, but we just use like the 19 like actual like hand-to-hand like actual legitimate martial arts. But so I think he would massively just outskill your character. So we can talk about that if you want to, if you disagree.
No, your skill point's fine. My counter is precognition and adaptability.
Okay.
So there's this autonomous robot which literally was able to like, has like precognition, and he was able to just like anticipate all of like majority of like everyone's moves and like Major's moves, and she was able to adapt and then break his fingers. And then there was a case where the autonomous robot ran into like this room to like go into this like mecha armor, and they were like trying to like understand like what's going on inside the room, and then Major precogged, and she said to like Bato like, yo, get out the way. And then he and like Major jumped, and then like, because she precogged like the mech firing a missile which completely nuked the room. And I'll drop you those two scans. I'll drop the first one. This is like her battle with the autonomous robot. Her adapting to him. And then I will drop you the precog scan as well.
Okay, so precog and adaptivity. Okay. So Big Boss and therefore Snake. Like, I don't know how much you know about the series, but like, Snake scales off of Big Boss. Big Boss trained him. Snake is referred to as like the greatest soldier in history, Solid Snake, that is. And so, and he's a clone, and it's been stated before that like every ability and skill that Big Boss has, Solid Snake would have. If you want that, I can give it to you.
I play the game, so I know that. No worries.
Okay.
I know that part.
So Big Boss defeated Gene, who just blatantly had precognition. Let me find. So here's an example of like his precog. He's just like, they're just walking around, and there's like construction going around, and he's like, yo, you need to move away from there. And then like he tells one of his dudes like, hey, look out, and he like moves, and then a support beam falls. And so it's just pretty blatantly like, okay, he's got precog. And let me see. I think let me make sure this is the clip where he beats him. Yeah. So this is the like end of the boss fight with Gene. And Gene, this kind of also applies to the adaptability point. Because Gene had precog as well as his own, he had like studied the boss's CQC, which would therefore just be Snake's. Like the Big Boss and the Boss trained together and created CQC together. He studied it and made like a more like violent, more powerful version of it, like a more destructive version, I think it says, or it might be in the CQC thing. Let me see there if it doesn't say it there. Let me look over it. It possesses EMP abilities. Yeah, so I'll find the CQC thing. Let's see. Yeah. So it's the in here is the CQC enhancer thing they talk about, and I'll find the thing for that saying that Gene had it. But this would essentially be like Snake scales to people who know his exact martial art, and have like blatantly improved on at least this like destructive capability. And I'll get the screenshot right now saying that Gene had this thing.
All right.
So there's that. And so there's that. There's also, that's like just blatant, like, just like kind of blatant precog. Like he can just somehow see, like, you know, there's no basis for it necessarily. He can just do it, right? But both Gray Fox and Vamp were able to use precog through reading muscle movements, like the slightest of muscle movements. And I'll post that here. This is Ursula talking about like Gray Fox's like perfect soldier training. She says he can read the enemy's movements and learn them faster than any normal person ever could. And Solid Snake, Big Boss beats him in Portable Ops. Like, have you seen that? Are you aware of that? I can get the scan for it if not. Okay, so let me find that then. Gray Fox fight. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, just in the second battle, he just like beats him. Yeah, so here's like towards the end, like the cutscene where it just shows like Gray Fox is on the ground and he sort of just like beats some sense into him, where he's able to like put back together his past and shit. Solid Snake would actually further scale like above this in skill because he beat Gray Fox after he was trained by Big Boss. So after he would be trained in CQC, which we see in Peace Walker that Big Boss just trains all his goons in CQC, like at the beginning, like that little tutorial, like he just teaches everybody he knows it. He teaches Snake. I think it's stated in the CQC scan before that he spread the techniques throughout Foxhound. And so Snake beat him in hand-to-hand once in Metal Gear 2. And then he beat him again in MGS 1, which at this point he was enhanced with cybernetics, which his exoskeleton is stated to like bring out his max potential. In terms of fighting, it says designed to raise the wearer's fighting abilities as high as possible. And Snake was able to just like beat him in hand-to-hand. And so I think there's more stuff I could use to supplement that argument, but I think for now I've countered the precognition and adaptive point, adaptability. If you agree or disagree.
I agree.
Okay. So yeah, I maintain that there's like a pretty high skill gap between the two. And that in close quarters Snake would just kind of fuck her up.
Yeah, okay. You want to go judges?
Do you have nothing else you want to go through? Because I have some stuff, probably. No. Okay. Let me see. Um, I mean, I think a lot of it is contingent on the if the judges agree with the nanomachine thing. But do you think chaff grenades would be able to fuck with her? Post a scan in the description for those.
Let's see.
And he uses them on Gray Fox, who is like a cyborg in the boss battle.
Okay, let me
I'll
see
post. I'll find that. I'll post what it looks like in the fight to show what it looks like.
Yeah, I know what a chaff grenade does in.
But have you like in in like the Gray Fox fight, if he like throws one off, Gray Fox would just be like completely stunned. Because of he's like a cyborg, and so it fucks with his electronics. Are you aware of that, or do I need to get scans for that?
No.
You're not aware of that?
No, I'm aware. Like, you don't need to.
Okay. Just double checking.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you see the chaff grenade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, the whole purpose of it is to like mess with like electronics, right? And try and like basically scramble them and shit.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you're aware of it, in the case of like in a combative sense with Gray Fox, it just completely fucks up his cybernetics. Like it's able to like overcharge them, and he just like starts spazzing. Can't move, can't do anything. But yeah, if you don't have anything to counter that with, I think that would kind of just go into the like he'd throw one of these things down, she wouldn't be able to do anything, and he would just fuck her up in hand to hand.
What's like the range of it? How far can it like spread? Like this chaff grenade, like the neck.
Like it's like, I mean, it's kind of gamey, because it's sort of just like in whatever room you're in, wherever you throw it, it'll just work. And so, I mean, yeah, it would be difficult to quantify. I mean, I can show like however big the room is where he fights Gray Fox. If we're saying this gets to like close range, like close quarters, I could maybe find like a good screenshot of that.
Okay. But like I would say like there is like, you know, obviously standard battle assumptions, there is like a 20-meter distance at least, or 15.
Yeah.
So I'd argue like the chaff grenade wouldn't affect her from that distance.
I mean, he can throw it. Like he would throw it at the person if he's trying to like fuck up the electronics.
I'd argue accuracy. So she'd basically just shoot the grenade out of your hand and make it blow up.
Okay.
I'll drop.
So are you?
So she was chasing this like dude that was jumping from building to building, and she was able to accurately like shoot his ankle clean off. And I'll get that scan for you. And like he was like a good few meters away, because obviously like the size of a building, I don't know how far it is in terms of like meters, but he was like running away from her, but he was leaping from different buildings. I'll get you the scan. I think there's another scan I have as well. Let me go and see if I have that.
Is the second scan you posted the first one in order?
Yeah, sorry, the first one, then the second one. My bad. I kind of got them mixed up. I sent them in the wrong order. But yeah, like that's him like jumping off like a building and running to the next building, and she was able to like like accurately and cleanly shoot his ankle off with just like a 9mm.
Okay. I would say Snake would be more accurate. Just in general, he was able to outsnipe Sniper Wolf, who was stated to be like at that point unrivaled in like as a sniper, as well as he was able to duel with Revolver Ocelot, who is stated to be a master of like short range gunplay and just a master of just a master gunslinger in general. So I would say he would be more accurate than her.
Let me see.
But
just a sec.
Do you want me to? Are you looking for something, or you want me to post?
Yeah, you can post. Sorry, I was talking to myself. Yeah, you can post.
Okay. Let's see. So here is the scan for Ocelot. This is from the like official MGS Facebook. They would do a thing where like they'd have two characters versus each other, and it would be put to votes, but they would have like little factoids about each character. Ocelot, Master Gunslinger. I'll find the thing for Sniper Wolf as well.
Okay. Let me see what I got. Let me find this one scan real quick.
Okay, here's the thing for Sniper Wolf. It says accuracy with the sniper rifle is unmatched by anyone with the possible exception of Solid Snake. And then he is superior to her. He out snipes her in their boss fight. There's that there.
Okay, let's see. All right, so let me drop my stuff. Let me just get into. So, like, the accuracy thing. Let me see. So I'd argue to like further help this. I'd argue information analysis and sensory. And like, so basically, just by looking at you, she can like get like an analysis on you and your weapons and know what type it is and what make. And the sensory is like, basically she can like sense when people are moving or doing something. So she'd sense that you would move, like go for like the chaff grenade, and then she'd just shoot. She'd go for accuracy and snipe it. And I'll drop you.
Isn't this just? This just sounds like it's kind of like a precog-y kind of thing, but we already presented that he has countered people with precog.
Yeah, but like this is like a bit different. I know it's kind of precog-y, but like I'm just saying sensory in terms of like obviously seeing you like go for the chaff grenade. But yeah, like that's just yeah. But then
okay.
Yeah.
I mean that's fine. I don't disagree she'd see him doing that. Let me see. I'm trying to think of stuff that I could specifically like use on this person. I mean, like, how has this person like shown any resistance, like conventional mind hacks?
Yeah, because well, this is really awkward. I'm sorry, Crisis, but like hacking is technically in like how it works. Sorry, it's technically mind manipulation, because when you're trying to hack into someone, you're like trying to like control them, or like mess with their like their circuits and their system and stuff. And like she has like 4 layers of like barriers to protect her mind, and I can drop that scan for you.
Okay. The reason why I ask like conventional is because if her mind is like cybernetic, it would be more so again because it just seems that the way the verse works, their mind would just be like a computer, and the mind hack would be like a literal virus, like hacking them. Which is why I was wondering if there's like if they ever state like if part of her brain was normal and they were attacking the part and she was able to resist it.
Wait, sorry, say that last part again.
I was saying like the reason why I asked conventional is because if any part of her like is she just like a robot? Like is her brain just a computer?
Yeah, basically she's prosthetic. She's completely cybernetic. She's like just has like a cyber brain in her head.
Okay. Let me see.
Oh, let me find you that scan. Okay. So here's the four layers of resistance.
I don't think so. That's one for layers. Okay. Let me see. Are you still looking for something?
No. Sorry. I posted it.
Oh, okay. It was just the four layers thing. All right. I guess if we wanted to touch back on the body puppetry thing, I don't like using this just because I think it's really like, I don't know. I mean, they're equal stats, so I guess it's not that big a deal. But so Psycho Mantis was like, his whole power was that he could read your mind and then therefore like predict where you were going. Like he would control like body control, like just his mind hacks and body puppetry would scale just because they're all like based on his like mental powers. Like he would mentally either control your mind or he would control your mind and thus your body, or just read your mind and so on, right?
Yeah.
And like it was I'll get this statement here that he could, based on reading your mind, he could like predict your entire life. Let me make sure that like because this is a lot of information. It's like the last paragraph, the start of it, where you see the it says his powerful psychokinetic power and the ability to read people's minds is unmatched. He's able to correctly point out the actions of an individual by looking at their path in life. And so he can see like your entire life ahead of you. And this would be like essentially let me make sure that this is the right clip here. Yeah. So Snake is able to just willpower through it. At least that's, I don't know. That make sure that timestamp works. If not, I'll send this to you.
No, it hasn't worked.
Okay. Try this then. I'm gonna delete that other one. It just shows Mantis like he's lost. He says, "Oh, you know, I wasn't able to read you," and it's just straight up said in canon, like in the continuity, just through like codec dialogue, that Snake canonically somehow like changed his controller port on his like system on his controller, whatever the fuck, however you put that, And so it was said in game, as well as this is from the Metal Gear Solid 5 strategy guide. And so Snake would have like a transcendent resistance to people like attacking his mind or trying to read it or like trying to control it, because like I said, Psycho Mantis's like psychokinesis and like mind manip would scale. Do you agree? Just because it's like it's just his mental power. His mental power is what influences his telekinesis and his like mind reading. And so Snake was just able to. I mean, it's weird. It's weird, however you want to interpret it, but regardless, he was able to counter like Psycho Mantis's power. And Psycho Mantis was able to like read the fucking PlayStation memory card. And so his mind hacks are pretty. His mind reading, mind control, all that would be pretty ridiculous, pretty beefy.
Well, I have a question.
Yo.
Yeah, but like,
question.
So like, because I played like Metal Gear Solid, but like, didn't the player? I remember I was like hella young. Didn't like the player had to like plug out the controller in order for like his control to not work? So like technically, like, that's a weird one. I don't know.
Yeah, the player could do like it was literally the player, but in they say that it was like in that thing there, the guidebook section. It just says that Snake is a soldier who possessed unparalleled command of his controller ports. And in the MGS4, like in that codec thing I sent you, they're talking about like how they defeated Psycho Mantis in MGS1. It just says that they used the controller ports to counteract his mind reading powers. And so it just seems, yeah, and they even say, they tell Snake to use the same tactic again. As well, Big Boss was able to resist like his mind and like his body and such being controlled by Gene. In this cutscene, Gene is like, "Yo, everybody here, just open fire and just kill the guy next to you." And he was just saying this out loud, like this is just it's his voice that has this power. And I'm pretty sure it says that. I can find that again. That it's just, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but if you want me to like supply evidence that it's his voice,
no, it's fine.
And that it would just be like in the sound or whatever. But yeah, so Big Boss was in the crowd and he was just like, "Hey, everybody, fucking stop doing that. Don't do that." And then in the boss fight itself, you see like Gene is like attacking his mind, and that's what that like where like you see his face like flash over the screen like it's purple, and he's trying to like fuck with Snake's mind, and Snake was able to resist that and defeat Gene. And so that would be my argument for like Snake's defenses against like mind manip, body control, like through the mind, like body puppetry, like through those means.
Wait, did you say it transcended?
What's that?
Did you say it transcended?
It seems to, just because it's talking about like changing the controller ports, and like it's blatantly saying that the Snake is the one who's doing this. He's the one who has unparalleled control of his controller ports, and the fact that like in verse the characters are like, "Yeah, that's how he did it. Change the controller ports. Snake did that." So I mean, again, it's equal stats, so it would be, I don't know if that would be weird, but that is what's been showcased, is he'd have like a transcendent like resistance to mind control and like body control via the mind and such.
Okay, I see. But like, I don't know, like, I might leave that one to the judges. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but like, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because it I don't know, like it kind of feels, I don't know, like it feels a little bit, because like when I was younger, because when I played like the Psycho Mantis boss fight, which is probably one of my favorites, obviously the player had to like do it, So it feels
Yeah,
it feels
in reality, the
yeah.
player had to do it, but how they justify it that happening in the universe is Snake did it. Snake was able to
Oh, do it
change
himself.
the
Yeah.
controller for it. Yeah, that's just how they justify it in verse. Because I mean, you could say like, oh, Snake, like we're the ones who are actually moving the buttons that make Snake move, but obviously that's not how they justify Snake doing anything in the universe.
Yeah.
They just sort of relent and are like Psycho Mantis is just that powerful that he can manipulate the console. Because even in MGS4, he tries the shit again, and like Mantis is just like a broken character where he just blatantly, like in that scan I posted, he just has knowledge. He can read the card, and like he's just saying the shit out loud. He does that. He tries to do it again in MGS4, and so it's just this shit just seems to exist in the verse where they just have some kind of tenuous connection to like reality. It seems, but yeah, we can leave that to the judges. I'm pretty much done. I think I've justified my arguments well enough.
All right.
So you can conclude first, I guess.
All right. In my conclusion, I feel as if I did put up a good argument to prove that she would attempt to like hack into Snake and like get like, you know, a way into his body and make him neg himself. Let's see what else. The accuracy, like, I feel as if I did prove that. Obviously, despite like Snake having like accuracy of himself, I would be able to like counter it via like just my information and now I know, like I said, with the whole sensory, which is kind of precoggy, but she would like be able to like see him move his arm and like attempt to go for the chaff, and I would be able to like shoot it from a range. And plus I did mention that there is kind of like obviously a distance between us, so like about like 20 meters or 15, but I felt like I've kind of like, even if like he throws it, like I would be able to still shoot it down and still be out of range. As for like, let's see, what else did I say? I did argue like mental barriers, so like resistances, so like my 4 layers of defenses, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'll conclude. I think I justified, even if I were able to, like, even if I did agree that that nanomachine controlling nanomachines would be at all analogous to controlling somebody who is majorly comprised of electronics down to their brain, down to their organs, and seemingly like just all throughout their body. Even if I were to grant that, I have already I've pretty much sufficiently made the argument, in my opinion, that Snake would be able to resist any type of mind control or body puppetry, that he just has just a pretty high beefy resistance to things like that. I've shown that Snake is overall just a better combatant, that he's more accurate, like he has better aim. He's far and above superior in hand-to-hand combat. I don't think my opponent even like tried to argue against that he'd just completely outclass her in close range. Also, I've countered the precog point, saying that Snake's gone up against plenty of people who have various means of precog, just straight up seeing into the future, and as well as predicting Snake's moves explicitly. I countered the character being able to adapt to my character by giving the instance of Snake defeating somebody who blatantly has a more destructive version of his close quarters style. So I think with that, I think my character would just resist whatever mind hacks, body puppetry that Major would try to do. Snake would just outskill her, just beat the fuck out of her. And yeah, that would be that. That's my conclusion.
So Carnifex, you going first or what?
I mean, I guess, since you told me to.
I asked.
Yeah, so definitely Crisis won the skill points, obviously. The whole thing with the shaft grenade, I do think that Force proved that the Major can shoot out of the air, but I do agree that Snake would have the better accuracy overall, so if they got in the gunfight, Snake would nag. I think Crisis countered the the precog point and adaptation point pretty well. The hacking point is a bit contentious. Crisis, do you mind explaining your last counter to like mind hacks and shit?
Yeah, I mean if you mean the last argument I made regarding it, it was that Psycho Mantis has telekinesis and he used body puppetry on characters before, so he has this ability to control your body. And even in the example of Screaming Mantis, who is scaled to him and have his powers, she explicitly used nanomachines to try to body puppet people. Like she successfully did that to characters like Meryl. But Snake has shown a resistance to this. And it is like, you could argue just because of things like in verse, they're saying like, yes, Snake was able to change his controller ports on his console, and the guidebook just stating that he had an unparalleled command of his controller ports, and Mantis wasn't able to read his movements, wasn't able to affect him really at all mentally, would mean that Snake would just have a resistance to like a much higher level of body puppetry / mind control than I think was presented with the Major.
It is an interesting argument. I don't think I buy the last section of it, the whole controller ports section, but everything else you said about it was fine. Now, let me see. The initial point on hacking is like the more contentious side. Though, even if I do give the initial points to Forrest, I don't know. I think you later on at the end may have countered it. So I guess I'll give you the win at least, I think.
Okay, so for my
What do you think, debater? I'm still thinking.
Okay, no, I'm going to give my conclusion. Okay,
yeah, because it is a bit, like,
I'll
arguments are a bit interesting.
I'll save the hacking for last.
Yeah.
Skill, Crisis definitely took that one. Force admitted that. Just way more showings, better showings. Precog, it was a little convoluted, but I think Crisis should show a higher degree of precog. Accuracy, I agree that Chaff Grenade will be shot out, but like overall accuracy, I kind of would like give it to like Crisis a bit more. Let me see. Mind hacks. Information analysis. Forrest brought up this, saying that he'll see what weapons Snake is going to use. But I think Crisis pointed this out. Like, I don't see how it would like stop the accuracy, even if she know what the weapons would use. Let's see. The mind hacks. I don't listen. The controller port thing. It was odd. Carnifex brought up a few things in the commentary, but like, I thought Crisis argued it pretty well. I don't think how Forrest was trying to go against it would really work. Even with the whole controller port thing, I just think like he argued it better than Forrest. So Mind Axe thing, I'll give it to him. Hacking, okay, at the start, so I was gonna go inconclusive, but like even the beginning, I thought like Crisis just like I was arguing about. It was definitely like the point of the debate where it was going like back and forth.
Yeah,
probably the closest part of the debate. Then once he showed like the other stuff, when he added on to that with the whole Psycho Mantis thing and the gene ability and the big boss, yeah, he kind of just like showed better stuff. So like overall I give this to like Crisis.
Anyone else
has anything to say?
You two down there wanting to say anything?
Chad said he took notes. Was he not?
Listen.
Got your notepad?
All I'm saying is, I spent half of this debate looking for that fucking comic for Striker.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean, I know for a damn fact that Tori wasn't here at the time, but if he wants to speak, he can say something.
I would just be repeating what was already stated. I agree. If I were to judge it, I'd say the same exact thing.
Well,
So I don't know.
Okay.
From what I did hear, Forrest, you have gotten a lot better, my dude.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Way better.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Crisis.
Yeah,
This is
GG,
a
good
good
debate, bro.
Yeah, good debate.
Good debate.
I definitely thought yeah, I didn't do a lot